You're tuned in to the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast.
Welcome back to the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast, where we are showcasing the coolest brands and gifts while featuring movers and makers. I'm your host, Lenore, and Grandparents' Day is coming up next Sunday, to be exact. And sometimes it's not that easy to get your grandparents something that they don't already have or that they don't already need. So this year, you should get your grandpa something entertaining. It's called the Grandpa Magic Book. Honestly, it's great for grandmas too, because professional magician and New York Times bestselling author Allan Zola Kronzek has compiled 116 tricks, stunts, and brain teasers into this one book that will create wonderful memories for both grandparents and grandkids. So Allan's on the line right now, and I really hope that he's able to teach us some tricks or at least show us some of these magic tricks during today's podcast episode. So Allan, welcome to the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast.
Thanks. Wonderful to be here.
I'm so excited. I really hope that you can teach us some tricks today and show us some stuff. But overall, let's talk about Grandpa Magic, the book that you have created. You are a magician, and this is the whole reason why you wanted to pass down these skills to, not really pass down, but to share them with other grandparents that are out there in the world. So what is inside Grandpa Magic?
Well, first of all, here's what's on the outside of Grandpa Magic. And on the inside are dozens and dozens and dozens of different ways to engage your grandkids. It's many grandparents, not necessarily grandmoms, who have a pretty good feel for connecting with their grandkids, but not the same for grandpas, for some grandpas. And the whole idea behind this came from the fact that when I perform, often people would come up to me afterwards and say, "Hey, Allan, that was great. Can you teach me something I can show the grandkids?" You know, they're always on their phones and, you got something? So usually if there was time, I'd take them aside and show them something. And it was my wife, the source of many of my best ideas, who said, "Hey, there's another book here," because I'd written several magic books before. But what about one targeted to grandparents? And I thought it was a great idea, and so did the publisher when we approached. So the first section of the book is magic tricks. And you need no special equipment to do any of this. You don't have to go shopping. You have everything in your home. The tricks are beautifully, beautifully illustrated. I couldn't ask for a better illustrator, showing step by step in cartoon style how you do the effect.
Was that hard to try to get an illustrator to actually draw what you're trying to demonstrate?
It probably is, but the process was this. The photographer would come to the publisher's studio, and over the course of 2 days, I performed and demonstrated all of the tricks, and then they were photographed in stills. And then I would say, "Hey, we need a close-up here and get a over-the-shoulder close-up so people can see what it looks like from your point of view." And from that, those went to the illustrator, and the illustrator turned them into line drawings. And they're kind of cartoony and they're fun. I don't know if you can actually see the drawings here, but there's Grandpa Magic, who looks remarkably like me, doing some tricks. So that's how the illustration came to be. And they make learning the tricks really easy. The second section of the book is called Strange Amusements. These aren't magic tricks per se. They're just weird and wacky pieces of knowledge or bits you can do when you're out with the kids, if you take them out to a restaurant, or you can use tableware. You can turn a knife into a spoon. You can swallow a knife or make a spoon cry. Do all kinds of stuff with your napkins, turn them into puppets, into chickens, into bunnies. So there are those kind of amusements. Oh, a lot of stuff with currency, paper bills, loose change. And the third section of the book is riddles, brain teasers, and puzzles. These are, by puzzles, I mean thinking puzzles, figuring stuff out. Because the truth is, kids love mysteries, and they love to try to figure stuff out. And so how much better is it when you take your kid out, your grandkid out for a slice of pizza, and you're sitting there and the kid gets on his phone or her phone, and now they're, just a second grandpa, and they're busy. There are countless ways to get them off the phone. This very simple challenge is one of the Easiest things is to just take out a handful of change, like 5 or 6 pennies, put them on a table and propose a problem. Like, how can you arrange these pennies, 6 pennies, to make 2 rows of 4? It seems impossible, but it's not.
I'm thinking. You could see my eyes. I'm just trying to. You said 6 pennies, 4 in how many rows? 4?
2 rows with 4 pennies in each row.
2 rows. That's 4, 5. No, but that's 7. I don't know. I tried to look at my hand. You know when you try to do math and you write in the air, or I'm trying to figure out if I have 3. I'm trying to think I have 6 fingers. How do I line them up?
Sure. Well, in some ways it's a trick question, and there's a trick answer to it, but it lives up to the conditions. What you do is you place 1, 2, 3 in a row, 1 on either side, 1 here and 1 there. And now you take the extra penny. So you have basically a little cross, 3 by 3, right? And you take the last penny and put it on top of the one in the center. So then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like the SAT questions that I never get right.
And then you can, lay out 6 pennies or 8 pennies in a formation and ask the kid, move 2 of them and turn this triangle upside down. So these are just things that engage many, many kids. They'll sit there trying to figure it out. And once you give them the answer, if you need to, that's something they'll use on their friends. And, it's kind of contagious. So, and then there are just brain teasers and riddles. For example, a man and his dog are on opposite sides of the river. There's no bridge across the river. And the man really needs his dog, wants his dog. Man calls to the dog. Pretty soon the dog is there, and the dog did not get wet. How is this possible?
I don't think the dog can jump the river, can he?
The dog cannot jump the river.
There's no boats in this river?
No boats in this river.
Then honestly, if this is a grandpa magic trick books for kids, maybe it should be for adults too, because I don't know what the answer is.
The answer is the river was frozen.
Well, there's that.
There is that. So all of these are brain teasers. Once you get the solution, it's, now I get it. They're all easy to understand. It's not that they're very difficult and they require calculus. They just require outside the box thinking. So,
and that's great for critical thinking, is for helping kids and their cognitive brain and stuff develop at a younger age as well.
Absolutely. And so is learning magic. One of the hopes that I had for readers of the book, and I know this actually happens many times, is not only will Grandpa be able to connect with the kids by showing them stuff that's really cool, that they're interested in and they want to know more about, but half the time, Grandpa will end up mentoring the kid, teaching a trick or two. And learning magic is very empowering, especially for a young kid, especially for shy kids, and learning how to do stuff and show others, and they haven't a clue, including intelligent adults who you can fool with very simple secrets. This is really good for a lot of kids, besides the motor skills. And I should mention, Grandpa will develop a whole new set of motor skills. So it teaches that. It also teaches learning magic critical thinking, as you mentioned, because there are just ways to solve problems that you may never have considered.
You did tell me to show up today prepared. So I have a bill. I have a $5 bill, and I hear I can do some magic with a bill. So can we get started? Can you show me?
Sure. This is a trick I remember doing in 4th grade. And this is the level it's for. This is for young kids. And the idea is, how do you make George Washington stand on his head without turning the bill 180 degrees? How do you make him stand on his head? Allow me to demonstrate first, then I'll take you through it.
Cool. I'll put Lincoln on my head. I'll put Lincoln on his head afterwards.
Okay. So you just begin. The audience is opposite you, and Um, all I do is fold, in this case, George Washington in half. I do not turn the bill around, fold him again, just give him a little flick. And when he comes out of his trance, he has turned upside down. Yes, he has. No turning around, just fold, fold, give him a flick, and he turns around. That's it.
Don't know how you did that.
Good.
Okay. Oh, let me try. I have the bill facing the camera, right?
Yeah, facing the camera. Fold it one side away from you like that. Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Now fold the bill inward towards yourself. The top of the bill. Yep.
Yeah, I tried this.
Now just give it a little flick. And now reach inside that fold and flip the front part up. Yep. And open the bill. Did he turn over?
No. You did. I did it. My Lincoln's still like straight.
Okay. One more time.
Oh, no promises here,
Oh,
Allan.
no. You can do this.
I hope so.
Fold in half.
Fold in half.
This time, let's fold the front part down.
Okay, front part down.
Flick.
Flick.
Take the section nearest you and bring it up in the back. Nope. Yep. That. Unfold.
Oh my gosh. How'd I do that? I literally don't know what I did.
Okay. It's very deceptive for something that's really, really, really simple.
Yes.
So, and you can do it like 6 times in a row. And I assure you, young kids will say, what the, the secret is this.
Ah, wait.
Got it? You got it?
I got it. I'm not gonna reveal your secret. I got it. I figured it out.
You got it.
Yes.
Now, anybody watching this can repeat it, and you'll eventually figure out how to do it if you don't want me to explain it now. But that's one of the kind of tricks you can do at any time, anywhere. If you have a George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, a single and a fly, you can lay them on top of each other and magically make them change places in a way that's very perplexing. So I can't do that for you now because we'd have to have a close-up. That's the kind of material that's in the book. It's all impromptu. It's all at the drop of a hat. And it's all really, really good. The tricks are really good tricks. They're not stupid tricks.
Do you have any other tricks up your sleeve that you got a chance to show us today?
I can show you something else from the book.
Go right ahead. Yeah.
Let's do The Adventures of Ronnie the Rubber Band. Now I have to find out where I put Ronnie.
I actually have a hair tie. I don't know if I can try along with you with my hair tie.
Justin, I may have to get a new Ronnie. I thought I had Ronnie handy.
So
but
why is Ronnie? Why is Ronnie the name of our rubber band?
Alliteration. Ronnie and rubber band. They go together. Okay. So if you're going to do this, I recommend you get these kind of bags of assorted color rubber bands at stationery store, because it's best to do this trick with contrasting color rubber bands. So, hey, here's Ronnie. I got Ronnie right here. So allow me to introduce you. This is Ronnie the Rubber Band, and he is getting ready to enter the Rubber Band Olympics. He will be in the jumping contest. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to put him across these 2 fingers. And his goal is to jump from here to there. So before you do any jumping, you should, of course, limber up. So Ronnie gives himself a stretch or 2, stretches himself in the other direction just to limber up. And then on the count of 3, he will go from there to there just like that. 1, 2, 3, jump. And now he's up top. Stretch, stretch. Now he's going to try to work his way down to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, jump. And now Ronnie's on the bottom. The difficult part, however, is to get Ronnie to jump over a fence. So we have another rubber band that will act as the fence. I'm just going to loop it here, 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 and here. And you can see that Ronnie is really trapped. It's very difficult to get from there to there with the fence in the way. However, it's Ronnie. He's been practicing. So if he just does a few stretches like this and a few stretches like this, when he tries on the count of 3, he will make it over the fence. 1, 2, 3, jump. And now Ronnie's up top.
Ronnie is up top. How
He
did
jumped-
Ronnie get there?
He
I don't
jumped
know.
over the fence. He just jumped over the fence. Of course, all of this makes Ronnie very tired. I don't know. Can you see Ronnie there? He's
Yeah.
going to take a nap. Good night, Ronnie. Oh, there he goes. He's just crawling inside. Goodbye, Ronnie. Have a good night. And that's Ronnie the rubber band.
And you can learn how to do that in your book as well, correct?
Not only that, in magic, a whole set of tricks that go together is called a routine. So Ronnie the rubber band is a complete routine. He begins by jumping from one set of fingers to the other. Then he jumps over a fence. Then he climbs a mountain. In other words, you stretch a rubber band like this and you put Ronnie on it, and he magically works his way up to the top. And after that, of course, he's tired, and then Ronnie takes a nap.
Alan, how did you get involved in magic?
A long time ago, memories are malleable. You can't sometimes be sure exactly what happened. But the strongest memories I have are my mother giving me a magic book on how to do magic tricks while I was home from school sick one day. And I remember just being fascinated by the secrets, trying one out, finding it worked. My mother was, "How did you do that? I love that feeling. How did you do that?" So that was one thing. Then I saw a magician at a Cub Scout blue and gold meeting. And they have magic magicians, very popular. And this guy knocked me out. He just did stuff I couldn't believe. The most memorable trick for me all these years later was he had an empty glass, and over here he had a large pitcher of milk, and he tied a ribbon between the two, clapped his hands, and the pitcher went down and the glass went up. No explanation. He cuts the ribbon and everything stops, and he pours the milk from the glass back into the pitcher. I had no clue, but I thought, this is cool. I want to do this. And at that time, there were a lot of magicians on TV. I'm a grandpa, so back in those days, Ed Sullivan, very popular TV show, always had the best magicians on. There was another show where you would write in to see somebody, to see some kind of skill. You asked for it. That was the name. Did you ever hear of that?
No, I know the Sullivan Show, though.
Okay, you asked for it. People would write in and say they would ask for something, and then it would be on. And apparently, a lot of people asked for magicians because they had a lot of magicians on. So this influx of stuff got me really interested. And I was kind of a shy kid. And this really gave me the confidence to get up in front of people and do stuff. So long story short, by the time I was a teenager, I was doing magic shows for kids' birthday parties. My mother would drive me to the gig, and she would pick me up later. And during those days, I learned some sleight of hand, but my dad, if I did what I was supposed to do and was a good boy, would take me to the magic shop, which we had in the outskirts of Pittsburgh, where I grew up, and I could buy something. And so I got props. As a kid, I had a lot of magic props. And that's what I used for my shows. They're tricks meant for kids' birthday parties. So I did all of that stuff. But as I got older, I got more interested in sleight of hand. I joined a magicians organization called the International Brotherhood of Magicians. I was mentored by some really smart, caring guys. At that time, it was always guys. Now there are a lot more women doing magic. But then, one was a math teacher at the University of Pittsburgh. Another guy was a local electrician. But they both really helped me develop my skills to the point where I could fool the pants off of them eventually. And so that was cool.
So when the
Gave it
student
all
becomes
up.
the teacher.
Yeah. Gave it all up when I went to college, had to do other things. But afterwards, when I moved to where I currently live, Sag Harbor in Eastern Long Island, my parents said to me, all that stuff in the basement, all those tricks, all that stuff we bought, get it out of here, would you? So I brought the whole trunk up here, started performing again. I had all this kids shows equipment, so I did kids shows. But my real interest became sleight of hand, and I was very fortunate to live near New York City, where I got to study with three master magicians. By name, Slidini, the great Slidini, fabulous magician. You can see him in action on old Dick Cavett shows, and just a fabulous master who would fool the pants off me all the time. A card guy named Frank Garcia, and a master of modern coin magic, David Roth. So I was fortunate that I also could study with these guys. And eventually, trying to make a living from this, I developed educational programs and went into schools doing a program on the history of magic as a performing art, and also a science critical thinking program using magic to explain or to demonstrate how easy it is to be fooled, to be mistaken, to jump to false conclusions, and to misperceive. So pre-COVID, these were all really popular shows.
Listen, I don't know how Ronnie jumped any of his fences or how he's going anywhere. So I'm definitely going to need to pick up Grandpa Magic for myself. I know you can get it for your grandparents out there. But maybe it could help me a little bit. Maybe I could be the life of the party anyway. So it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be a grandpa to get Grandpa Magic.
No, you don't. A number of people are giving it to kids because the instructions are very clear, the drawings are very clear, and you can learn how to do it. Ronnie the Rubber Band, if viewers would like to actually learn how to do that, go to YouTube and do a search on Ronnie the Jumping Rubber Band. And my publisher during lockdown said, would you teach something that we can share with, our massive list of books we publish and followers. So YouTube, RonnieTheJumpingRubberBand.com will teach you all the jumping over the fence, and Ronnie takes a nap. And my website for all this stuff is grandpamagic.net. And the book, I should say, is available at Amazon and Walmart and Barnes & Noble and Target online. So it's out there.
So if you're looking for a gift for your grandparents for Grandparents' Day coming up soon, or honestly just for the kids, for you, for anybody in the family, I think this is an awesome book just to have, on the coffee table in the living room or the family room, or right there on the ottoman ready to go. You can head to grandpamagic.net to grab your copy of Grandpa Magic. Just like Allan said, it is available on Amazon as well. Allan, thank you so much for showing us. I now know a trick that I can be the life of the party at. I'm going to make my friends watch me. And
Okay.
I'm definitely going to have to YouTube Ronnie the Rubber Band, because mind blown. Mind blown.
Super.
Now, that is a wrap on another episode of the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast. I'm your host, Lenore. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss one. More at brandambassadorselect.com, and we will see you next time.